Morning all. I'm going to be giving you today 3 top tips when designing for blended families. What are blended families? Okay, so this is the situation I'm in at the moment. I don't think you can see the chaos that's currently happening in my living room. There's a lot of boxes. A blended family, 2 families that come together. They move out of their respective houses and everyone moves into one. Currently the situation that I'm undertaking, which is what's made me think about it for this week's video. They're a demographic that we design for a lot, and there are some key considerations when designing for blended families in particular, or just large families to be honest, but there tends to be a particular theme with blended families. Now, a lot of people are actually deciding to build their own homes, which is a great choice because actually, realistically, buying a 5-bedroom house is expensive. And it's not designed for you. You can be trying to fit all the different people in the family into these boxes of a 5-bedroom home, and it just doesn't work. But I'm going to tell you 3 things to consider when designing for your blended family, and hopefully they are foolproof ways of getting it right, okay? So the first one is to consider the flexibility of your home. I've talked about flexibility in previous videos as well. Really good to go back and watch that one, because you might get some more tips. But basically what I mean is, so in our particular situation, there's going to be 6 of us in the house 50% of the time. That means that the other 50% of the time, there's actually just going to be 2 of us. So half of the time we could be potentially rattling around in a huge house. So what you want to consider when finding a house, adapting your house, or specifically building your house, is how to build in that flexibility. And what I mean is, consider how you will live as a family of 6. If all of you are in one house, in one place, you'll probably want more open plan family spaces. That might mean your living room is open plan as well, and then they shut themselves off in their bedrooms for private space. But you are less likely to want vast swathes of open plan space when you just want to cozy up on the sofa together and drink a glass of wine. You might want a space that you can then shut down into something smaller, which is entirely possible through good design. So that's a great consideration when you're thinking about designing your own home for a big family or a blended family. Number 2, the ages of your children. Now, we have an age range of 7 to almost 17 in our blended family. And all of the children have different needs, different considerations, and they are all coming together to live in one house. So from an emotional point of view, it's a big deal, and they've come from different families. They are going to need their own space, and that's really regardless of their ages. But age does play a key factor in designing because their needs are different at different ages. Their bedroom sizes, their bedroom uses. Flexibility comes into this as well. If you've got older children who are going to be, leaving for university, you'll likely want to keep a space for them at home so they feel that they've always got somewhere to come back to. But when they're not there, can you use that space for other things? Does that have that flexibility? And do the rooms that you're designing for them have the flexibility for those children to grow older and for their needs adapting? So that's your second consideration. Your third consideration is the use of space. Now, I don't know, Lawrence and I have a complete guilty pleasure of the programme Below Deck. This is a recent thing, but we've got really into it. But you get a really good insight into really clever high-end design, because those super yachts, those £20 million super yachts, they've got the most amazing design solutions to make sure everything looks absolutely beautiful, but it's also completely functional. Now, that is what you are going for, okay? You are going for super yacht design in your functionality of design when you're designing for this many kids. Because when you're building your own home, you can get your square meterage down if you're more clever. So instead of just building massive bedrooms to fit all the furniture in, think about building furniture in to meet their changing needs as they grow older, but also for functionality and for the clean lines of space, okay? Consider communal areas for their wardrobes and maybe some other storage, wardrobes and drawers and laundry. So you could have 4 bedrooms, for instance, at one end of the house and maybe stacked on top of each other. I don't know, I'm kind of designing my head now, but what I'm saying is that those rooms can be designed completely with complete functionality in mind inside, and you could keep the footprint of those down by building in communal furniture into the communal kind of landing space or hallway space in between. So they each have their own wardrobe and drawers built in outside of their bedroom, and then they just go into their respective bedrooms to change and things. But that means you're cutting down on a bit of wall space and floor space that could otherwise just be increasing your footprint and making your build more expensive. But it is all about that functionality. You don't want to feel cramped. You just need the space to work really well for you. And it's an important consideration because a lot of families find themselves in this position. So that's your 3. You've got the flexibility, whether there's 6 of you, 2 of you, the percentage of time that you're going to be spending, different numbers of people in the house, the age range of your children, and the dynamic, so how that flow will work, and the flexibility of those spaces as they get older. And the last one, the clever design, the use of the space, the super yacht design when it comes to keeping your floor space down and keeping those rooms really functional. So I hope that's been helpful. Wish me luck for the next week or so. I will have a different backdrop soon, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Bye bye.